a country goes to war, we start talking about that country as if everybody in the country is down with the program. And typically that's never the case, right? The citizens are not down with the program. There's a political class making these decisions for them. They may oppose it. Well, here's what happens when you oppose a war peacefully in Russia.
Арестуйте Путина, а не меня, блин! Руки сзади! Ладно, я лежать, я сказал,
Everyone who knows me, they know that I am anti-war. The Russian aggression into Ukraine is simply modern day colonization. And those who support it, those Republicans in particular who are saying things like, well, it used to belong to Russia anyway, which is factually inaccurate. They are supporting an authoritarian regime because of the guy in America who set the tone for them, being Donald J. Trump. This is problematic on many levels. Ukraine is a sovereign nation. Ukraine has a democracy. I thought we were supposed to protect democracies. I digress. If you want more information about my breakdown of this matter, make sure you check out one of my videos. So on Thursday, thousands of Russians took to the streets to do what? To protest the invasion of Ukraine. Protesters were met with heavy police presence. Some were beaten, videos were taken. They have already arrested almost 2,000 protesters who were not committing any criminal activity whatsoever. Here's how police in Moscow are preparing for protests today.
Your mums. What are they expecting here, man? We get a little briefing. The Goon Squad. So what going on?
Let me give you some more insight into this. Many Russians, like people across the world, they were shocked to wake up and learn that Mr. Putin had ordered a full-scale assault against a country often referred to as a brotherly nation. At the protest, many people said they felt depressed and broken by the news of Russian military action. It is important to understand that citizens typically are the ultimate losers when nations go to war. And their story is important for us to tell. And we will tell their story on Indisputable. In Moscow, the police blocked off access to the square in the city center after opposition activists called people to come there. Police officers dispersed even the smallest groups of protesters, ordering them to clear the area through their loudspeakers. A few hundred people, mostly young, flanked the streets leading to the square, and some chanting, "No to war." Yeah. While many Russians credit Mr. Putin with lifting their country out of the economic hardship of the 90s, others are deeply uneasy about his leadership. And tough sanctions that affect everyday Russians, like potential technology embargoes that could separate Russians from their beloved next generation phones, could diminish his support at home. Many Ukrainian politicians and public figures called for Russians to come out to voice their discontent with the incursion. But years of government oppression made the risk of taking part in anti-Kremlin demonstrations very high. I have to remind everyone, they are risking their freedom, they are risking their lives, they are risking their reputation in order to demonstrate in peace their opposition to killing. We have to bring the humanity back into these conversations. What Putin is doing is wrong, clearly. Ukraine is a sovereign nation. Now, according to Putin, his entire theory is for him to sell this war as if this is the only way for self-preservation and the protection of Russia. Well, as I said before, there's always a sales pitch when it comes to warfare. That's his sales pitch. But there's a lot more behind that sales pitch. All right, Ms. Malone, what are your thoughts on this?
I think we need to also remind the American people that are watching today why it's so important that diplomacy is at the forefront of any administration. When we look at President Trump, former President Trump rather, he gave Putin a platform that I believe during his time in office helped to elevate us to where we see that we are today. And so I want to make sure that people are reminded that we need to hold those Republicans accountable as we're heading into the midterm elections, because definitely they were on Trump's bandwagon, and Trump is still the voice of their party.
Yeah.
And Trump gave Putin a platform during his presidency that I believe elevated Putin's place on the world stage. So I just want to remind the American people that I don't think that we will be here today if Donald Trump did not have 4 years in the office and elevating of Putin the way he did.
You make a great point, and I reminded someone today that Putin started selling this potential war during the Trump administration. He started making these overtures about Ukraine during the Trump administration, creating a sales pitch, and now you see the fruition of that sales pitch in real time. And I also got a call from a member of Congress yesterday. I cannot say who it was an off-record conversation, but I can share some of the content. They were briefed, I'm talking about Congress. They were briefed yesterday on the Russia invasion into Ukraine. Republicans, Democrats, everybody was in the briefing. Well, inside of the briefing, according to this member of Congress, Republicans and Democrats were in agreement that the Kremlin is wrong. They were in agreement this is an attack on democracy. They were in agreement that Ukraine is a sovereign nation. They were in agreement even with the sanctions from Biden, all of them. But as soon as the briefing stopped, brother, Republicans went back to their corners, went to their Twitter accounts, went to their media and said things contrary than what they expressed inside of that meeting. That is where we are in politics right now in America.